Hello friends and greetings from beautiful Dubai. Is always sunny and love it. And yeah, today I wanted to answer some of your questions that I got from you about Dubai. A couple of different questions, obviously some of them related to finance, some of them in general about living here and so on. So I got some of them on Instagram. So I'm just going to go randomly through them and hopefully some of them will be useful. I also put the chapters down in the description below so you can skip around and see what is relevant for you. Excuse the sunglasses, but it's really sunny, so yeah, otherwise I wouldn't be able to see anything. Right, so the first question here was actually, can you tell us how hard or easy it is to get a visa for living in Dubai? And well, honestly, it's actually not that hard. It obviously depends what you want to do. If you want to come here and want to be employed and work for somebody, it's super easy. I mean, basically the employer is doing it for you and they will do all the arrangements, and all you have to do basically is just show up and do the paperwork, but even that they help you with. So in principle, it's super easy. So if you wanted to come for that, that's totally fine. Otherwise, one of the easiest ways is probably to just start your own company here. You have to pay a little bit to register a company in the free zone. There are different companies out there that can help you with that. If you're interested in it, write me an email. I'll share with you my contact details. They helped me to set up my company. They arranged the visa for me. That was quite useful actually. Because yeah, sometimes the paperwork can be a little bit overwhelming. So having somebody, even if I pay a little bit premium, for me it was worth it. But in principle, it's super easy actually. And obviously, it's a country built on foreigners. So they want to attract more and more people, and they make it easier and easier over time. For example, in my case, I applied for a golden visa, which you can do if you own real estate over a certain value. And that, of course, is for 10 years, so you don't have to renew it all the time, which, again, makes things a little bit easier. But it's really up to you. It depends on the situation. You don't have to apply for it. So yeah, but in principle, to answer your question, it is quite easy to get a visa these days. The next question I got, which is the best investment platform for people in Dubai residents? Because the one thing I'm not a big fan of is the banks over here. I mean, they're really quite old school in a way, I would say. So there is one new upcoming challenging bank, digital first bank, which is called Bank. And honestly, they do really a good job, I must say. And one cool thing they offer is, for example, commission-free investing, which is really nice. So I haven't tried them yet myself, but that would probably be the option if I was living here that I would be using. And it's free of charge to set up. So, definitely something to try out. Other than that, I can still recommend a lot of the other platforms that I always use myself anyways. I will soon make a video showing how I transition my existing portfolio from Europe-based to the UAE. Obviously, since I'm going to be moving over here and going to be based here, I have to also transfer my portfolio. And I can do that with interactive brokers and even trading 2-on-2. So that's really cool. I love those platforms anyways. So I don't want to sign up and transfer my portfolio to a new broker. I would rather have my existing broker and move them over here to Dubai. So that's a cool thing you can do. And as I said, I will do future update videos on that. The next question was a bit similar to the visa again. How can you get residence except for buying real estate? So as I said, you can either get employed, you can have your own company, or you can get the golden visa if you have certain specialties, like specialized doctors, or you have exceptional grades in school. There are certain ways. I can put a link in the description below where you can check it out if you qualify for that. Some people really do if they have special talents, or even athletes, sports stars, so they can qualify for a golden visa, which can be obviously quite attractive. Oh, a little bit windy today. I mean, yeah, but anyway, still very nice to be here, obviously. The next question is, can you get the citizenship? Well, as far as I'm aware, that really can only be by invitation of a real high-ranking official in the country. Even if your children are born in the UAE and you're living here yourself, they won't become UAE citizens. Like in most other countries, that's the case, right? If you live there and you give birth to children, they naturally take the citizenship of that country. Here, unfortunately, I suppose it's not the case. Until now, it's really pretty much impossible to get a UAE citizenship unless you specifically, invited by somebody really high ranking. The next question was, how much is the food for 2 people for a week? Yeah, good question. I haven't actually run the numbers, but one thing I can tell you, it's not cheap. I mean, honestly, in general, of course, in Dubai, the great thing is we don't have taxation. If you live here, that's a good benefit. But on the flip side is you definitely need that money to spend on everyday living expenses, including food, of course. And they do have now some kind of little Aldi alternative. I just heard about Viva. I haven't been there myself. But in general, there aren't too many big chains, and less chains means less competition, and therefore the prices continue to stay quite high. We ourselves are going shopping in Carrefour, which is a French supermarket, quite popular over here. Previously, the first time I actually went to Waitrose, which was an amazing experience, beautiful produce, but it's insanely expensive. I mean, we spent 250 euros for 3 shopping bags. I mean, crazy. But again, it always depends on you, what kind of products you want, etc. So it's hard to generalize, but I would say European prices plus 50%, I would say. Probably, that's kind of what you can compare with, so let's say German prices, or if you're from Lithuania, where we were based, which is actually pretty similar to Germany, if not slightly more expensive. So on top of that, yeah, I would say on average you could add 50%. So that's really, yeah, it is not cheap. Again, the products are really nice. It's a nice experience. You can get it delivered to your home. So it's really convenient, but definitely you pay for things over here. Right now, as you can see, also we're in a beautiful place. But yeah, the restaurants where we're eating is definitely not cheap, right? I could have gone to McDonald's, of course. That would be cheaper. But at the same time, yes, you spend a bit more, but you also get so much more, right? So it is always, what you want to do. If you want to come here to save money, you certainly can. I lived here as a student and I was really, spending very, very little. Now, obviously, I have more income and I want to spend it also because I want to enjoy life. But at the same time, I want to be conscious and I want to take advantage of deals, which you can certainly get if you know where to look for. The next question, very popular question, of course, do you really have to not pay any taxes? Previously, I always used to say absolutely no taxes. But of course, if you read the news recently, there have been little few changes here and there. They introduced a few years ago the VAT tax for companies operating within the UAE and conducting their business here. They will be charging a 5% VAT. However, on your own income, personal income and income from dividends, from any stock sales, crypto, from any other rents you have abroad, if you are a tax resident of the UAE, then yes, there won't be any tax on that, which is amazing, right? I mean, that's already really, really nice. What they've done last year, they also introduced a corporate income tax of 9%. Now, that might scare some people away, but it's actually not that bad. The 9% only applies for companies making a profit over the equivalent of $100,000 a year. So first of all, if you hit over $100,000 a year, that's already pretty good. And don't forget, you can also factor in all your expenses into that. If you make 300,000 in revenue, but then you can include all your travel expenses, all your car rental, what have you, your salary, right? You can just pay yourself a higher salary. Now there are certain norms. You can't pay yourself, $500,000 salary if you're only making 550,000. But overall, you could definitely inflate the salary and then just end up paying less. Now, if you reach a point where you're still going to be over that, the 9% will only be on the incremental profit. So once again, let's say you make 150,000 profit at the end of the year, you would only pay the 9% on the 50,000. So yes, while it's not completely tax-free, at the end of the day, it's still so much better than so many other countries around the world. And as I said, on your own income that you get from other sources, on your rent, on your other investments, there's absolutely a big fat zero tax on that. So that's amazing and I love it. And yeah, then we can use those tax dollars that we save to spend on ourselves, enjoy the life and put it back into the economy and make it a beautiful place. And I mean, look at how amazing this place is. I mean, actually, funny side note, I used to do my internship over there because my university where I studied hospitality management was just across the road. And I used to come here to park cars, work in the bar as well. So really amazing experience, brings back memory to be now here as a guest. Yeah, it's really amazing. And yeah, it just shows you anything is possible in life. I absolutely love it. And yeah, I'm just getting started, guys. I want to do so much more in life. But yeah, I'm really excited to be on the journey. And I feel, good things are coming. Believe in yourself, have the courage, have the commitment, and with consistent effort over time, you can do anything you want. The next question was, is it worth to set up your company in Dubai? Well, again, you have to ask yourself what you want to do with your life. If you're just thinking of setting up a company over here, but then still living majority of the time in Europe or elsewhere, that really doesn't make sense in most cases, because technically, if you just do it for tax reasons, you're most likely still going to be a tax resident of your native country, unless you spend more than half a year also living here. Now, from a Dubai perspective, you, I believe, only have to live 3 months here to be a tax resident of Dubai. But that doesn't mean you're an international tax resident. So if you spend the rest of the year, 9 months in, let's say, Germany, you would still be considered a tax resident of Germany. So that wouldn't really free you from not paying your taxes. But if you end up spending more than half a year over here, you have your company, which receives the revenues, you pay all your expenses and so on from there, then definitely you will become an international tax resident. And that way you can still live if you wanted to spend the summers in Europe or elsewhere. And yeah, honestly, that's a pretty good way to enjoy the summer, because the summers in Dubai can get really, really hot. I mean, I used to live here for almost 7 years. Summers are really not pleasant. That's one of the few things that is a little bit, challenging in Dubai. The rest is all amazing. But yeah, that way I can spend my time in summer while at the same time benefiting from a tax-free environment in Dubai. So if you ask me, if you plan to shift your life to Dubai or UAE, I mean, I always say Dubai, but obviously to the UAE, there are 7 Emirates in total. then it definitely makes sense to start your company, because if you want to start operating, you need to be registered here. With the company, you have your visa. With the visa, you have your ID, and you need your ID for everything. You need to register yourself. The Wild West times are over. You have to be registered, structured a little bit. But honestly, I think it's a great thing and makes things so much easier, more seamless, and also legit, right? If you want to communicate with somebody, if you have a Dubai-based company, it gives a bit of credibility, definitely. So the next question is, do you think the Dubai bubble will burst? Now, it's so funny when I hear these questions, because obviously I hear them all the time, and mostly by people who don't live here, right? And that's always funny. And honestly, even when I came here in 2005, people said, oh my God, why are you going to Dubai? It's about to collapse. It's absolutely, overhyped and so on. And well, I can tell you how the city changed from 2005 till now. It's just unbelievable. So much development, so much, opportunities over here. And for me, it's just really inspiring to see. And you could say that for any thriving business or company or individual, right? They're gonna fall soon. The company is gonna collapse soon. And I don't see this happening at all. If anything, I only see this booming more, because people are leaving a lot of the parts, a lot of the countries in Europe. I mean, when I look at Germany, my friend, he's one of the top real estate agents over here. He's selling only exclusively to German speakers in Europe, who are all fed up with the politics over there, with what's going on over there. All they wish is to leave, live in a safe place where there are clear rules, where the assets are still worth something. Here, you don't have to worry about security. Everything is safe, there are a clear set of rules, and people love that, Like for me, I work hard to afford more things in life, right? To have a good life, but then I want to make sure it's also safe and protected, and not that the government is against me and we're not on the same page. So that's why I think, if anything, more and more people are coming here from the US, from Europe, from Asia, I mean, there's such a melting pot, and for me, it's so nice to see how many different cultures are living here peacefully. I mean, it's so beautiful. And yeah, I already met so many different cultures, and here it really doesn't matter what your passport says. In the end, it's what you do, what you deliver, and bring to the world, basically. And that's what I love. So I only see this booming. The same friend also said, it reminds him of New York in the 80s. And that's really true, because there's such a raw energy. People want to be here. They want to be part of the rise to the top. The vision of the Sheikh, the ruler of the UAE, is just incredible. And they want to be number one at everything. And trust me, the way they're going at the speed and the vision they have for it, I really wouldn't be surprised if in a few years we're definitely going to be there. The next question is, what kind of business opportunities do you see here? And well, honestly, it's more like a question of which ones do I not see? Because there's just so many things happening. And when I came here, I thought everything was already here. But now, a few years later, there are again new providers doing new things. And just because one thing exists, right, doesn't mean there can be a better option out there. I mean, look at how many hotels there are. You think all the possible hotels are already built, and guess what? They're just building more hotels, better hotels. And I think really whatever you want to do, there's opportunities here. Like anywhere, really. Here, it's even easier to get started than sometimes in parts of Europe. The fact that you can come here with just a good idea, with a good network, you don't even need capital often, because people just want to invest into you, and really anything can be possible. So I think, honestly, there's so much opportunity here. That's why I came myself also, because I really think it's the best time to start building your business here, build a network that's so powerful, and then expand. You see now more and more companies expanding beyond the UAE. I think in the future we'll hear more and more success stories of startup companies that came out of the UAE and then established themselves elsewhere, whereas in the past they used to be coming from abroad and set up shop over here. So I think we'll see more of that in the future. The next question I got, is Dubai pet friendly? It definitely changed a lot. When I came here, again, back in 2005, I would hardly ever see a dog anywhere, right? I mean, I remember the first time when I went somewhere to a restaurant, I asked, do you accept dogs? And they looked at me like, what's wrong with you? And that has changed. Now you see more and more, people love their dogs and they want to bring the animals here. And it's getting better and better. Like there's certain areas where you can walk, even beach clubs that allow dogs, which is really nice to see. Obviously, we have a beautiful little puppy dog, Nutella, with my wife together as well. This time we came for a few weeks, so sadly we couldn't bring her. But next time, when we actually move here for a much longer period, then we will definitely fly her in. It does take a lot of paperwork, so it's not super easy. And it's super expensive. Only one airline allows it to take in the cabin. It's crazy expensive, as I said. But again, it's your animal, right? You're not going to cheap out on that. But it is possible. It's getting better. You see veterinarians, you even have pet nannies and so on, that they can stay with your animal when you're gone. So it's definitely getting better. So I'm really happy for that. Now, the next question is, which areas you suggest to live in? And honestly, it's hard to say. Once again, it depends on your budget, I would say, firstly, and where you want to live, right? Do you want to live in the business part? There are certain areas, which is probably in Business Bay or downtown. I quite like it. It's a good energy, good buzz. So downtown is a bit more expensive. Business Bay is a newer part, close to downtown, and it is a bit more affordable. So that's definitely good. If you want to spend a bit more money and enjoy really life, then the Palm is of course arguably one of the nicest areas where you can live. We really enjoy it, but right now I feel it's a little bit overpriced and there's a lack of nice accommodation, which I wish there would be more of, because most of it is really quite old school. So I wish in the future there would be new accommodations. If I could live anywhere, definitely right now I would say Palm. Other places are, for example, Marina, that's very popular, but for me it's not really a place where I would want to live. It's so congested, so many traffic jams, and it's just very touristy, so it's not a place where I would necessarily want to live. So another one we're actually looking at right now is Dubai Harbor Creek. It's a new area. That's actually also where I bought my own real estate, and yeah, it's quite a lovely area, to be honest, not too far from downtown, and yeah, very calm at the moment. They are pet friendly, very peaceful. You see the Burj Khalifa from there, and the prices are really, really good actually. So as I said, it depends on your budget, where you want to live. You can also live in some villas. If you drive, half an hour, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, you can live in a villa for €1,500, no problem. So yeah, have a look around. These are some of the main areas. Ultimately, of course, you need to see, feel the vibe. You can enjoy life in all the areas, but you have to find what works for you. And another question I got, what are any drawbacks of Dubai? And again, you know me, I'm a really positive person, so I don't like to look at the negatives. Obviously, I'm very excited about Dubai. I want to move here. I'm setting up my company, so not too many really I can think of. Obviously, you could say potentially that it is expensive, but as I said, at the same time, you get what you pay for, right? You pay more, but you also get more. So in my eyes, and I can't really say it's expensive because, I also choose the nicer things to enjoy myself. And if I wanted to, I could, definitely live quite cheap here as well. You could live in a cheap accommodation, as I said, far outside, you drive 45 minutes, even in another emirate. If you live in Sharjah or Ajman, you drive after work an hour and a half, but there you get really amazing accommodation for a fraction of the price. So once again, it really depends on you. What is your budget, what you want to get out of life. So that could be one. Another one that comes to mind is the Wi-Fi situation is not the best. I really struggled, for example, working on Wi-Fi in Starbucks. I don't know if they make it so bad so people don't hang around too long. Now finally I got signed up with Etisalat, which is my phone provider of choice. It's unlimited 4G only, so not 5G but 4G. But still, at least I have unlimited data. I can connect to my laptop. I pay 80 euros for that a month, so not cheap. But for me, worth it, so I don't have to fiddle around with the Wi-Fi anymore. But yeah, somehow that was an issue. Even the apartment where we're staying, a very nice service residence, but the Wi-Fi is so bad. So that's another point to consider. And as I mentioned, of course, summers can get really, really hot over here. So after a while, you might get accustomed to it and be fine with it. Or, of course, as many people who can travel and leave the place, they usually end up spending 2-3 months in the summer, going back to Europe, for example, or go on a road trip throughout Europe, what have you. We plan to do the same. We just bought an apartment in Lithuania where we want to spend the summers because it's beautiful over there. But yeah, the rest of the year, we'd definitely like to enjoy the beautiful weather over here. All right, guys, I hope that answered some of your questions. If you still have any questions left, pop them in the comments down below and I'll get back to every single one of you. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me. As always, stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.